Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to mount a turkey cape. The only things you're going to need for this are a thing of cardboard, a box of borax, a sharp knife, a lot of thumbtacks, and a good pair of pliers or snips. You're going to start by removing all these feathers behind the tail fan. You can't see the back side of the fan when it's on the wall, so we're going to remove all of these. And then after that, we're going to cut out all the meat from around these feathers. And a good rule of thumb is if it's red, get rid of it. Once you get down to where it's nothing but yellow and white left, that's where you want to be. You don't want to leave meat in there because it's going to rot. It's going to cause bugs to come into it. So get it down all the way to just the yellow and the white. Once you remove all the skin from this side of the fan, you're going to flip the fan over. There's a space between the fan and the skin back there, and there's a lot of meat in there. Once again, the rule is if it's red, get rid of it. Now, once you get all the meat cut from the front and the back side of the fan, you're going to notice this bone in the middle. You can't cut through it, but you can cut around it. What I like to use is a pair of tin snips. This is the tail fan bone, and it needs to be removed so that you can fully open up the tail fan whenever we go to pin it to the cardboard. A little tip here. Grab yourself a pair of old pliers and give this thing a good grab and then twist it off. It makes your life a lot easier. It's pretty tough just to pull it out by hand. It'd probably take a while, so definitely use some pliers here. Once you've got that tailbone out, clean up any last little bits of meat in here, and then this part is done. Your tail fan is completely clean, and you're ready to put it on the board. Now you can lay your turkey cape out on the cardboard, grab your thumbtacks and or your seamstress needles. I like to use a combination of both. And of course, pull out your borax. You're gonna need a lot of that. Okay, now what you're gonna do is expose all the skin, move all these feathers off to the side so that you can see everything clearly. Cut off any extra meat. If you have these weird patches of feathers hanging off to the side that you're not gonna be able to see, go ahead and cut those off too. This next part may seem small, but it's important. You're going to take your hand and run it from the bottom all the way up to the top of the fan here. And what we're doing is getting all the feathers to line up the way they should be so that they lay naturally and they look really nice for when you put it up on the wall. Okay, all the prep work is done, and at this point you are ready to tack your cape to the cardboard. I like to use seamstress needles for this because it has a little bit more depth than the tacks. You can get away with tacks, it'll work just fine, but I just like to use these needles. This next part takes a while, so I'm going to speed the video up here. You're going to take your pins or your needles, and you're going to go up about an inch every time, and you're going to place them right on the edge of the skin. You don't have to pull the skin real tight across, but make it flat, make sure it's taut, because you're going to have to go back and put borax on it later, and you're going to work your way all the way up to the tail fan. Try to make as straight of a line as possible here. It's going to make your final product look a lot better. Once you've got those needles in, you're ready to move up to the tail fan. This is another one of those parts that's going to take you a while, so I'm going to speed up the video here as well. First thing that you're going to do is spread out the tail fan, and you're going to put 2 pins at the very bottom, those bottom 2 feathers. That's important because you don't want those to move up as you go. So those 2 pins need to go in well, and they cannot move throughout the entire process. If they do, it's going to mess up your final product. Once you've got those bottom 2 feathers in place, you're ready to start tacking the rest of the feathers. So first thing, move all the feathers into the place that you want them to be. They're going to move a little bit, not a whole lot you can do about that, but as you go, move each feather into place and make sure that there's no space between them. You shouldn't be able to see the cardboard underneath the feathers. This is going to take a lot of your thumbtacks or your seamstress needles, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Just be patient with it. I like to use the thumbtacks on the flat parts of the feathers, more towards the top, and I like to use the seamstress needles closer to the tail fan where there's a little bit more depth required. Right here, I'm switching to my thumbtacks because I'm going to go up top. I did the deeper parts with the seamstress needles here. You can put 2 or 3 thumbtacks on each feather if you want to. The more the better, honestly. Just try to keep the feathers straight and make sure that you can't see any cardboard behind it. Something you can do here too is put tacks on both sides of the feathers. They tend to drift up towards the middle, so I always put the tacks on the upside, but you can do both. Once it's fully tacked up, grab your borax because you are ready to cover this thing completely in borax. I like to do it to the beard as well. That part's pretty easy. Just put a pile of it there, place the beard in it, and then put a little bit more on top, and you're going to cure your beard at the same time that you cure the cape. Just like you use tacks to hold all the feathers in place, you can do the same thing with your beard. I put one needle straight through the middle up top, and then I use other tacks to straighten out the beard, and it'll actually cure straight instead of being curved like that. Now you're ready to pour your borax onto the skin and onto the fan. Be generous with it, use a whole bunch of it. This is going to cure the skin so that it doesn't rot and so that bugs don't come and chew on it. And you can put it up on your wall and not have to worry about it. There's also this little space underneath the tail fan. There's skin in there. So you're going to want to shove a bunch of borax up under there and then pour some more onto the tail fan. Once that is done, you're going to put this up somewhere in a dry, cool place, and you're going to let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks and not touch it. Now that it's cured for 4 to 6 weeks, you're ready to come back, take out all of your tacks and all of your pins, and then dump out the borax, give it a shake off. A little bit of excess on there is okay. It's not going to hurt anything. Once all the borax is off, I like to go back and cut out any of these excess feathers on the back side that I'm not going to be able to see, or if they just stick out a little too far and make it look weird, then I'm going to cut those off as well. How you hang this up on the wall is completely up to you. I mean, you can put a nail through it, hide it from the feathers, and then just put it straight up on the wall. The one thing that I didn't show you in the video is how I personally do it. I like to take a piece of wire and some hot glue. I run the wire underneath the tail fan. I make a little loop with it, and then I hot glue it in. I will also go back and put a little hot glue in between each feather back here. So as long as it's on the back side where I can't see it, I can use as much hot glue back here as I want to, and that helps keep the feathers in place. And that's it, y'all. You're ready to hang your turkey cape up on the wall with all your other ones. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. As always, if you learned something, like and subscribe to our channels, and we'll see y'all next time.